I can't put that in. It's gonna get flagged. You can't sing it. You can't sing it.
It wasn't even in the movie.
Hello and welcome to a galaxy far, far away for another episode of Whiskey Business. The only YouTube channel that tells you exactly how drunk you have to be to see a movie. Today we saw Rogue One, a Star Wars story, which is a stupid title for them. I don't know why they have to put that in there.
We wanted to be clear.
But the Rogue One part's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Our rebellion is all that remains to push back the Empire. We think you might be able to help us.
When was the last time you were in contact with your father?
What is this?
This movie tells a story of the Rebel Alliance and how they got the plans to the Death Star to allow Luke to shoot that little proton torpedo through that little tiny garbage chute and blow up the whole fucking thing.
I actually hear it's like shooting swamp rats.
You ever seen a swamp rat?
Pretty darn easy to do. Apparently he did them all the time back on.
This movie was incredible. This movie is just an awesome ragtag group of soldiers who are hell-bent on figuring out how to fuck up the Death Star, and it leads to one of the greatest climax of any movie I've ever seen in my entire life. The last 45 minutes of this movie is just a fucking all-out war. There's a space battle and a ground battle and a heist happening at the same time, and cutting between all of them, it's incredible.
To me, the first half played out like you were reading about Star Wars, and the second half of the movie played out like you were in a fucking battle. I mean, some of these scenes were exactly what we've been wanting to see with a modern Star Wars movie. Seeing the capability of all-out warfare from both sides, and it felt real for the first time in any of these movies. I thought that's one of the great elements of it.
Like, this movie really didn't disappoint. I mean, it was a full-length feature film, and cut that out. We waited all year for this movie. And this movie really didn't disappoint. I have to admit, it did feel like it was a little slow in the beginning, but that's of course because they're doing so much build up on the characters and the storyline and the plot. But, at halfway through the movie, the entire movie just opened up and it was just amazing. It was really great to watch. It was really fun to see. You would definitely want to go and see it again because you would notice even more than the last time that you saw it. It was just lots and lots of fun.
This movie, it's super satisfying because there's a beginning and an end. There's a clear story that happens. Yep. There's not an overarching mystery of who's this person related to and how come they can do this thing. It's this is like a Vietnam War movie but in the Star Wars universe, and it's fucking amazing. It's
Apocalypse a long time ago now.
It's full of Easter eggs from the original movies, shit that if you're a super fan like we are, you notice characters that pop in for just a quick second, or just sounds or names you hear called out that other people wouldn't really notice, but if you do notice, it just makes you even more engaged in the movie, in the universe here, and it's just fucking amazing. Albeit the beginning, first 20 minutes for me was a little slow because they're setting up all these characters that you've never met before, but I feel like after that it was just fucking non-stop, balls to the wall. Every scene had an urgency of we need to get to this place now, and then they get there, shit goes wrong, we need to figure something out and get out of here. It's this movie, it's going to make you want to go home and watch A New Hope right away because this movie ends maybe 30 seconds before that movie starts. Where it's just full of moments where I was just so pumped. I wanted to stand up in the theater and just clap and scream because there's some badass shit that happens in this movie, and I cannot be any more happy with what I just saw.
After, Disney started to take over Star Wars, I mean, they've just rocked it, man.
I think this is a version of Star Wars we had never seen before, and I don't think any of us were prepared to see it this way, and I think that's what made it all the better, is it was just something shockingly new.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars. It's
Yeah.
a fucking war movie.
Yeah.
There's no magical powers here. It's just laser guns and grenade launchers.
They really do a good job of explaining and kind of setting up a lot of the behind the scenes, workings of the Death Star and what kind of everything that fell into place to get it going and what it's what it's doing and what it's capable of. And I mean, it kind of instills a level of fear.
Yeah.
You're watching these. It's not Jedi. It's. I think when you had that Jedi aspect, you're like, oh well, they're Jedi. They could take care of anything. Like they're gonna use the Force and it'll be all right. But when you're dealing with human, your average soldier, your average civilian soldier, whatever it is, it's a loaded effort when you see this thing in wreaking havoc the way it does.
Yeah, they bring a whole new level of intimidation to the Empire that wasn't really there before. Like in the originals, you see the Death Star blow up a planet that you've never even seen the surface of, and you see the stormtroopers just being cut through by lightsabers and shit. Like this, shows the Empire is a scary force, and they have some fucking serious power. And these rebels are up against the wall with not a lot on their side. The characters in this movie were awesome. They're not related to anyone. They didn't have to go like, oh, he's his daughter or whatever. Like these are brand new characters, and they're all awesome. They have K2SO as this new droid voiced by Alan Tudyk, who is
Great.
Like a
Awesome.
assassin killer version of C-3PO. He's
a way better version of C-3PO. Let's just say that.
He's a smart ass, and he's also a badass.
Yeah.
And then
Smart.
He doesn't look like he's gonna fall apart every time you see him comes on screen.
No Wookiee's gonna rip his arms off.
Donnie Yen plays a blind Force believer. I guess he's not a Jedi, but he believes in the Force, and he's a fucking badass.
Yeah.
He's like a blind kung fu master with this staff that just wrecks house. He's just knocking the shit out of stormtroopers, and he's my favorite part of this movie.
Yeah.
Then.
He totally made the movie for me.
Yeah. Felicity Jones plays Jyn Erso. She is a great emotional lead. She's like the through line through this whole thing. She's great as a badass, kind of rebellious punk who just gets turned into this rebellion kind of by chance. But every character adds a different layer to this whole ensemble. Everyone has a different backstory and reason why they're there, and just seeing them all come together for one purpose, it just doesn't get better than this. I'd give this movie a straight up prohibition. I had a blast watching this. It was everything I wanted from a Star Wars movie, all the cool Easter eggs. I loved every fucking second of this movie. It was slow at the beginning, but it was just setting up the characters, and once this one action scene happens in this marketplace, this movie takes off and it never stops, and I want to see it right now. If it wasn't 2 o'clock in the morning, I would go watch it again.
A long, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, they made 3 movies. Then they waited some time, and they made 3 more movies, which I wish they didn't.
We don't talk about
We
those.
don't really mention those. And then they waited a few more years, and they made another movie. I like that. Now they made this one. Keep them coming. This is what I want to see. This is the real side of Star Wars. This is how you take something that's storied and franchised, and this is how you branch off correctly. You take a segment, be creative, and do your own story, and it'll work right. I gotta say, I'm gonna give this a sober. Only reason I'm not giving prohibition is because I'm trying to be more ruthless on my ratings, but I'll probably cycle back tomorrow and decide that I made a terrible decision and should have gone prohibition. But for now, I'm gonna say Stone Cold Sober, man. This was a great flick. I'll probably see it 2 more times, and more importantly, I can go watch this with my family. I can go watch this with anybody who's ever heard of Star Wars across multiple generations, and I think they'd all enjoy it too. So, drink up.
So I have to say, for my vote, I really feel that this movie don't get me wrong. I feel like it was not without its faults. I didn't care for the two main characters that much, but it was the side characters that really made the movie. For me, the movie didn't open up until really the second half, but when it opened up, it was fucking awesome. So I'm definitely giving this a sober. Probably not Prohibition, but definitely sober. I really enjoyed the movie, and I'm probably definitely gonna watch it again.
Save the rebellion! Save the dream!
May the force be with you, you drunk fucks.